retrospective show. For a retrospective show. The horror retrospective show. Not really too much of an original plot. It's a basic plot. You've got a mad scientist experimenting on creatures, and it's not too long before we have dogs dressed in giant shrew costumes. In some of the close-ups, we also have, I guess you could say, hand puppets. I guess they were just trying to be a little bit more discreet. The acting itself isn't too great. The dialogue is pretty dull, and the Swedish accents, which are used by the two main characters, are not very believable either. And I guess just to try and make the story a bit more interesting, they incorporated somewhat of a boy-girl struggle. You have two of the male characters who are fighting over the boring female, and of course she's the only girl in the film, so someone has to fight over her because then the story would be entirely boring. So you've basically got people who are trapped on an island full of these giant shrews who are running out of a food source and beating up every single thing that they can eat. It's only a matter of time before they start eating the livestock as well as the scientist, and then potentially eventually each other. So you've got these people holed up in this cruddy little adobe shack who are trying to survive. Eventually someone does devise the plan. Well, why don't we just crawl under these oil drums, we'll tie them together, and we'll just, crab walk out of here, which is effective for the most part. So out of everyone who was on the island, we only have 3 survivors, and surprisingly enough for an older film, the help, of course, does die off first, which is maybe not the nicest thing to say, but, they definitely do get rid of the more ethnic characters first before we start losing the Caucasians. But that, in a nutshell, is the Killer Shrews. Not the greatest of films. It's a decent time killer film. I believe, depending on which version you watch, you're probably sitting down for roughly about an hour and 8 minutes. But, if you've got nothing better to do, then sit down and take a watch and have a look at the Killer Shrews.